Welcome back. This is going to be a fairly quick lesson because it's a relatively simple concept but extremely effective for managing your time better. And that is called the one hat technique. Now, the one hat technique will help you stop second guessing yourself after you've already planned your schedule. So if you're juggling different projects, working multiple jobs, launching different campaigns, you know what it's like to wear multiple hats. If you work in a small business, you also know what it's like to wear multiple hats. All at the same time, you're setting goals, you're planning for the long term, you're planning for the short term, and you're trying to execute on everything while you're doing it. I think you've probably been there. One of the places that I've seen my clients, and myself for that matter, mess up is when we start flip-flopping between the different hats that we wear way too often. Here's what I mean. We set a goal and we figure out what strategies we need to accomplish it, right? So those could be something like we need to do some research, we need to build our email list, then we need to send out emails, whatever it is. But in the middle of that execution, we start to second guess ourselves and we take our execution hat off and we put our planning hat back on. Then we do it again and we say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do it this way. Maybe we should go back to the drawing board. And this begins a never-ending cycle of planning, then overthinking, which leads to replanning, which means we never actually get any real work done. Doesn't matter how good your time management strategy is, if you get caught up in this cycle, it won't work. There's nothing wrong with making an existing plan better, so don't get me wrong. But when it becomes a form of procrastination is where you need to learn to recognize it and get rid of it. So let's talk about how to get focused. One analogy that I like to use is if you're an employee or even if you have a small business, imagine for a second that you have a bunch of employees under you, okay? And then say that you planned a project out and gave that to them. And in the first hour of the day, they came back to you and they said, you know what, this just isn't working. And you're a good boss, so you go back to the drawing board and you recreate the plan, take a few hours, and they come back to you in another half hour and they say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work either. And they keep doing that. I would never allow my employees, and I highly doubt you would either, to do that. So the revelation I had is, why in the world would I allow myself to do that? It becomes an excuse not to get things done because it's a heck of a lot easier telling other people what to do, even if that's yourself, instead of actually doing it. So here's what I want you to do to take action. Start consciously thinking about the hats that you're putting on and make sure that you are just wearing one hat per project. So you're planning once and you're executing once. And when you schedule a task, decide if, when you execute it, you're going to be in planning mode or executing mode.